Hey everybody, this is Dylan. I am here making Pico because that is what I do, and I thought I would talk about this show that I saw on Netflix called Explained. They had an episode, it's this like 15-minute episodes, documentary style, and the episode was called Why Diets Fail. And they introduced the episode by saying, we still don't know the perfect human diet. It's still a secret. And I would push back against that. I would say that we do, in fact, know exactly what humans should be eating. And it's really similar to the same diet we've been eating for like 250,000 years, which is primarily a whole food, plant diet, without any processed junk, without added oils, without the animal products. Yes, in our history, in our evolution, there were some animal products involved, but it accounted for a very small percentage of calories, nothing like anything we're used to seeing in a standard American diet. And we know now that since we have caloric abundance, access to all of these amazing foods that we should be eating, that we really don't need to be eating the animal products anymore. Animal products are so rich in toxins these days that there's really nothing good about them, even though they may have existed in our evolution. So I don't think there's really any question as to what the perfect diet is. There's scientific research and evidence that supports this diet. There's my own experience and the experience of thousands of people in the Well Your World Facebook group and all over the world that are experiencing nothing but success eating this way. So yeah, I just wanted to push back against that point. Another point they made was that the detox industry is BS, and I absolutely agree with that. All of these detox products that people think they need, yeah, well, if you just actually, instead of adding something to your life, you just remove all of the bad stuff, your body has an amazing ability to detoxify itself without any kind of industrial product. So I would say, and look at water fasting, for example. You take everything out except water, and your body gets rid of all the junk and cures all kinds of issues. And so, yeah, I would agree. The detox industry is pretty bogus. Another thing they say is that, they start talking about how they've compared a low-fat diet and a low-carb diet, and the outcomes were like the same, and it's a draw. Of course, that would lead me to question what exactly is a low-fat diet, and I suspect that it included a lot of other junk. Just because it's low-fat doesn't mean that it's healthy. If you see some kind of food with a label on it that says that it's low-fat, well, if someone went to the trouble of putting a label on something that says low-fat, then it's probably highly processed and full of all kinds of other junk that you shouldn't be eating, one. And if it's a food with a label, again, you probably shouldn't be eating it anyway. So, I mean, yeah, there are exceptions. A can of beans has a label, I get it. A package of whole wheat pasta has a label, I get it. But for the most part, the foods you should be eating are completely unprocessed and would never have a label to begin with. They did a good job of mentioning how since the 80s, our calorie intake has increased by like 570 calories. I talked about this a little bit in the Jeff Novick video that I did a few weeks ago, and essentially, yes, we know exactly where all those added 570 calories come from, and it's primarily from added oils. And we also know that when we added these 570 calories also happened to be the time that we totally increased our reliance on packaged product, ready-made, quick and easy garbage food. And so I think it's pretty obvious how that all went down. Another thing they mentioned in the episode was that exercise, they mentioned that show The Biggest Loser, and how exercise isn't primarily the thing that causes you to lose weight, and that diet is. We know that the amount of calories we burn stays pretty consistent day to day, regardless of whether we had an active day or not. Of course, we know exercise is critically important to our health, to our weight, everything, but it isn't the thing that's going to determine where our weight is. You cannot outrun your mouth. If you're eating nothing but garbage and you're exercising your brains out, you're still going to struggle to maintain a healthy weight. And we know this. So they did a good job of just kind of throwing that tidbit into the episode, I thought. Then they mentioned genes, and they said that yes, genes can have an effect on how heavy a person is, and that's absolutely true. Genes can have an effect on how a person reacts to the various things that they put into their body. But at the end of the day, we know, and they sort of supported this too, they said genes haven't changed that much in the last 30 years, so we can't blame genes for the obesity epidemic that we are in the throes of now. So yes, genes will have an effect on our reaction when we eat the wrong foods, but for the most part, if we're all together, regardless of our genes, eating the right food, the whole food, plant-based, no processed junk diet, then we're pretty much not going to have to worry about those genes. We're all going to remain healthy, live long lives, free of medication and medical intervention, and yeah, it just works like that. They did mention briefly in the episode that if you eat primarily whole food, you're going to naturally eat less calories. We'll get rid of that extra 570 calories that we've been eating for the last 30 years. So we can see from this calorie density chart that if we eat all the foods to the left, we're going to fill up and feel satiated, while at the same time eating less calories without having to count anything. We have our non-starchy vegetables between 100 and 200 calories per pound. We should start every meal eating those. Our fruit, whole fruit, 300 to 400 calories per pound. Our unprocessed whole starches between 400 and 600 calories per pound, where we get the bulk of our calories when we eat this way, and we average out to around 550 calories per pound. So if we're eating the same amount of food every day, but we're focusing on these foods in the green area, we're going to be a lot better off. Look at animal products at around 1,000 calories per pound, processed and refined carbohydrates at 1,400 calories per pound, bread is around 1,600 calories per pound. Junk food, 2,300. Nuts and seeds, 2,800. Nuts and seeds are perfectly healthy, but we have to eat them in small amounts if we're trying to maintain or lose weight. Oil is pure fat, 4,000 calories per pound. It should obviously be avoided. There's nothing nutritive from oil. It's just processed junk. So you can see that if we're eating the right food, we don't have to think about anything. We'll eat just the right amount of calories. We'll be right at the right weight, and we've solved the diet issue. So they say there's no magic diet that works for everyone, and I would say that there absolutely is. Of course, there are some rare exceptions where people with certain conditions have to eat food that I wouldn't normally recommend to anyone else because I don't find it healthy. But for the most part, yes, there is one diet that will work for everyone, and that is the healthy diet that we eat. They do mention in the episode that the main reason why diets fail is because they can't be sustained, and I would say that most diets aren't even designed to ever be sustainable. It's crazy. You can't just eat a low-carb diet forever and expect to live a healthy life. We need carbs. Our body literally burns carbs. Our brain burns carbs. And so that's why most people fall off and can't maintain a low-carb diet. And so we know the truth. We know what the right food is. Why is it still really hard to maintain? And this is the one thing that I feel like they didn't talk about enough in the episode, and that is that this world is not set up for us to succeed. It's not set up for us to eat the right food at all. All of the foods that are being pushed our way, anytime we eat outside of our house, are going to be foods that are not health promoting. And that is a problem. We want to be able to go out, eat right, and enjoy social gatherings out at restaurants, or we want to be able to be in a hurry and grab something on the go that is healthy, and we can't do that. At the end of the day, the world is not set up for us to succeed eating healthy food. So right now, it requires us to do a little more work while the world catches up to us. So we have to put processes in place, clean our environment, get rid of the things we know we shouldn't have. It takes a lot more than just knowing what food we shouldn't eat. We've got to change the entire equation for ourselves. And no one is out there telling you that in mainstream TV. And so that's where I thought they were missing a little bit. But they did a pretty good job of the episode. I would have liked for them to mention that book. What is it called? Sugar, Salt, Fat, or something like that. I'll put a link in the description. But it's the book where they talk about how all of the junk food industries are working toward that bliss point where they've got the maximum amount of oil, salt, sugar possible to make you just love the taste, hooked on the taste, coming back for more all the time, and then relying on meds and everything else to keep you alive when your health is just severely declining because of these things. I think that would be a pretty interesting thing to have included myself, but it is what it is. We know the truth, and that's the most important thing. We have to maintain a health-promoting diet by changing our relationship with food entirely. This means changing a lot of our social situations. It means understanding the calorie density chart, knowing what the rules are, but also putting systems in place that allow us to stay with it. Cleaning our environment and getting all of the junk out of our house. Not allowing ourselves into situations that cause us to fall off the wagon and give in to cravings or whatever. Putting in the hard work and time, especially at the beginning. It gets a whole lot easier as time goes by, but putting in the hours and time at the beginning to learn about, to reform your relationship with food, to cook, learn basic cooking techniques. It's not that hard. You've seen me do it. It's really quite easy. And putting in processes in place that you can maintain forever. And if we can do that, then we'll see how our diet does not fail. Alright, there's my Pico batch that'll last maybe a few days tops. Thank you for watching this video. Please like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Join us also in the Well Your World Facebook group where we support one another on a truly health-promoting diet like the one we described in this video. Also check out wellyourworld.com to learn about my cooking show. It's a setting much like this, but we are live and you're interacting with me and talking to me and stopping and asking questions, telling me your story, and I'll respond to it if you have questions about something that you're struggling with right now. And you'll have access, of course, to all the past replays of all the cooking shows that we've done before. So I hope you'll check it out. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.